All right, welcome into TIYF podcast, everybody. This is the April 19th, Wednesday edition of TIYF Fantasy Football. Welcome in, everybody. We got a nice show for you guys tonight. Going to be about an hour. But before I get into the agenda and all that stuff, let me introduce my main man, the truth, Paul. How you doing, Paul?
Oh man, I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm a little heartbroken over some NBA action this last couple days, but we're here to talk football, Ryan. So let's just stick to it. How about that? But
Yeah.
everything's great though, man. I see you with your King
Good.
shirt, man.
Good.
Congratulations on the 2
Here we
wins.
go. Back to the playoffs, everybody. Yeah, we'll stick to football for this one. I'm trying to tiptoe around Paul. He's one of my best friends, so I'm not trying to rub it in too much, but I don't know. We'll get to that later on. So this is a football podcast. Let's stick to it. So what do we got on the dock for you guys tonight? Got a few things. We're going to cover some NFL news, which from last week to this week, we've had quite a few things happen. So we're going to touch on all those things and especially touch on how they relate to fantasy. We're going to go over some quarterbacks that could potentially break into the top five. And these are going to be names that really you probably will never think that could break into the top five for next season, 2023. But we got some discussions and we got some guys that we think might be able to get into that top five. Potential sleepers at quarterback. And then for number four, or actually not number four, but number three on the agenda, we're going to go over some negative regression touchdown candidates. So these are going to be guys that popped off last year, had 17, 19, 20 touchdowns, and could potentially go back down to or regress to the mean. So we're going to cover that. And it's actually quite a big list. Paul, I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at that, but it was
I did, man. I did. It's a little lengthy there, but I'm sure we'll be able to sum it up and in good fashion, in good order, and get all the details we need out of that.
Seriously. And before I move on any further, we got Big Ant in the building. Ant, how you doing, man?
Not too bad, man. Better late than never.
Good. No, you're right on time, dude. I haven't even got out of the intro yet, so you're good. Yeah, good to see you guys. So like I said, we got a good show for you. We got tons and tons of content that we're going to slam into an hour for you. So sit back, get a drink, and enjoy. So here we go. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Quit wasting time. So first up on the NFL news doc, let's just start off with quarterback. Jalen Hurts agrees to terms for a 5-year deal for $255 million contract extension. I think it's A+, good for him. Highest paid quarterback in the NFL next season on a per year basis. I personally 100% think he deserves it. And let's start with you, man. What do you think?
I saw someone said something about how he is kind of mad how every quarterback, as the ladder goes up, one quarterback gets paid the most, next quarterback needs to get paid the most after that. I kind of agree with that. I don't feel like every quarterback should get paid the most just because of the next quarterback up. I don't recall who tweeted that. I think it's in one of our group chats. But I think he deserves the money. I just don't think he deserves to be the highest paid quarterback. So it's kind of like you see it both ways. You're not going to be like, hey, man, Jalen Hurts, you're top 5 quarterback, but I don't think you're worth that much money. So I kind of feel like you have to do that. So you're kind of in a situation where you either risk and reward or you just pay him and not deal with it like Lamar Jackson. So, I mean, I think he deserves it. I just don't think he deserves to be the highest paid quarterback.
That makes a lot of sense. You kind of touched on something real quick. Like, do you think that's why he got like a 5-year contract instead of like a 10-year like Mahomes?
Yeah, I just feel like quarterbacks are getting smarter. They want to get paid more than once, and then if they ball out 3, 4, 5 years down the line, they're going to get that big deal like Mahomes got. So it's kind of like the Kirk Cousins has been getting all them guaranteed contracts for the past 4 or 5 years. But these quarterbacks are getting paid a lot more than Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, for sure. Paul, what do you think, man?
It's good for the Eagles, man. Like we're talking about, every time the quarterback's ready to get paid, like Burrow's going to get paid here soon. We know he's going to probably get a bigger contract than that. And all these quarterbacks are just it's getting higher and higher every time somebody is ready for a contract extension here. But yeah, it's good for the Eagles. They try to do it sooner than having to pay a little bit more later. So that's always good. And my thing with the contracts, man, like these quarterbacks take all of this money out of these teams, man. But when you look at it, Tom Brady, when he's best quarterback, in the game, playing in his prime and all that, but he was never. Oh, you never heard his contract extension is going for something crazy. He was always around the middle of the pack, and he was always a team kind of player. But we all know he was the best quarterback in the league. But he was never paid number one, money or paid like the number one quarterback all the time. He was still, team friendly, and he knew that, and it would help his team overall be able to sign the key players that he needs to be successful as an all-around NFL team.
Very good point. Yeah, I was listening to another podcast kind of talking about this quarterback situation a few weeks back, and there's kind of like two ways to build your team right now in the NFL. You either have like a superstar quarterback like a Mahomes or a Jalen Hurts now that is on that like max contract type of deal that takes up, I don't know what it is, 25-30% of the cap. So you either got to build your roster that way, or what a lot of teams try to do is you get that rookie quarterback that's a stud on a rookie contract and then stack the team around him, kind of like the Eagles from last season. So yeah, it's tough. And that's good on Brady, man, to at least help his team a little bit. And which makes sense why they had a dynasty going for so long. So yeah, totally agree, man.
But how many quarterbacks are on teams that are just well overpaid and are not even worth the money, man? I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks that are way overpaid. Am I wrong?
I think so. Like the only guy I don't have a list of quarterbacks in front of me on how much they make, but like I think Mahomes is worth the $45 million because he pretty much ran the team by himself with Kelsey. But outside of that, like I don't know what you guys think. Like Cousins, was he worth the money?
He didn't do anything. I mean, at the end of the day, if you don't win the ship, it don't matter. And this dude's banked off guaranteed contract for the past 4 years, man. Every year, guaranteed contract, guaranteed money.
And I know Deshaun Watson, just coming back, so that's another one to watch. I see how he does next season because that'll be his first full year. So if he doesn't, produce out there, I mean that might be another one because after this season, I think Ant talked about it last week. This guy's gonna be making a crazy amount of money per year, and that's outrageous money for a quarterback. You're taking almost 40%, 35% of the team's salary.
Yeah, man, I forgot all about his contract. Yeah, that's huge money, and it's all guaranteed. Oh man,
yeah, that's the one. Yeah. That's the one we're gonna pay attention to this season because he needs to produce. And you give him these last couple games, the season. Yeah, okay, he's been gone for a while, but now you got a whole training camp. This guy has to come in here and he has to produce.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to keep an eye on. I thought he was dreadful last season, man, after the suspension. Hopefully he turns it around for the Browns. I know they're expecting to change their offense and be more faster flowing, more passing. We'll see. That's a tall order to live up to.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot, man.
Yeah. All right. On to the next piece of news. So we got the 49ers receiving trade calls on former first-round QB Trey Lance. Yeah, I just heard about this one today. I'm going to say my 2 cents. Let's start off with you, Paul. What do you think, man?
I mean, it looks like that. I mean, if they're taking calls, maybe to see. I mean, maybe it's worth it. But they put a lot. They put a lot of first round picks into this guy, man. To you already be like, I think I saw the report there, like, we just want a second round and a third round. But like, you gave up 2 first round picks for the guy. I mean, credit. He hasn't even really had a chance yet. I've seen him in a couple of games. I didn't like what I saw in the games that he started. But, I mean, he's still under rookie contract, man. I mean, you might as well keep him on the team. You've already invested in him. And you never know what's going to happen. What if, you bring Purdy back and then he goes down? I mean, you still got a solid backup quarterback. I don't think you get rid of him, man. You don't trade him at all.
I kind of agree with you. Ant, what do you think, man?
Oh, you're not a fan of Sam Darnold?
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Come on. They got him in San Francisco now. 1-year deal. Nah, man. I mean, I'm all for it. They need some money. They need some investment back. They need picks. They need all the help they can get on the pick front. So, I mean, they're 100% making Purdy their guy, regardless if they say it or don't. The way he played, the way the team ran around him, he was clearly their guy. If he wasn't hurt, they probably would have already announced it, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, basically whatever they can get for him, I think they'll take. But the only I like the Paul said was that he's on a rookie contract, so it doesn't really hurt you if you keep him. So it's kind of like you can throw him out there and you can try to get the most you can for him. At the end of the day, if you don't like the return, keep him. But you could also get maybe a couple seconds for him. I don't see him getting a first, but you never know.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those things where, how well does the 49ers management handle sunk cost? Because I think at this point, it seems like they don't have the confidence in him right now, which is why they were probably fielding trade calls for him. So, kind of like what you said, Ant, what are they going to be willing to take? George is in the chat. He's our 49ers expert, saying they got to get something good back. I don't know what the market is, but if they really don't want him, try to get something out of him. But on that note, before we leave this real quick, let's just do a rapid fire. If Trey Lance does get traded for fantasy purposes, what teams would we like to see him go to?
I didn't really like the way he played. I don't even know if he has fantasy value. He's not like one of the guys that are just going to come onto another team and just shine and be a top 10 quarterback. So, I know he can run, but we all knows what happens when you just have a running quarterback. You got to be able to pass the ball. And I've seen him throw a couple of balls that were like yikes. So, it's for fantasy value. I don't think if you trade him somewhere, I don't think you're going to get fantasy value out of him right away.
Yeah. So we got Billy in the chat saying, Miami replacing Tua, which we're going to touch on that here in a second.
Yeah. It's not a bad spot.
Yeah. The first team that came to my head was Atlanta. What about you, Ant?
All day, Tampa Bay.
It's not bad either.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I actually like that a lot.
They got talent around them. And they don't really got a quarterback there. They got Trask, and they signed Baker. But come on,
yeah,
I got Baker, man. You don't believe in Baker?
Nah, man. We all gave Baker a chance. But I also thought about maybe Tennessee. I actually heard a little bit about Tennessee as an option, but I don't know. I don't know what Tennessee's even doing. They're talking about trading Henry and starting all over, which don't make sense because Mike Vrabel clearly doesn't start over. He's obviously not the type of coach to do that. He's a win now guy. So
yeah.
George saying Pats would be good too. Yeah, Pats would be nice.
What if the Ravens trade Lamar, man? You bring in Trey Lance.
Lamar's staying, man.
Hey, man, I'm just throwing it out there, man. You never know. I'm just throwing it out there.
I've been on Lamar trade the whole time. You guys know me.
A couple of these teams, and man, that Bucks one, that's intriguing.
That's a nice one, actually.
He's nice and young, and the Bucks could be set for the next decade if he panned out. So
that's a good one. Oh man.
If.
All right, let's move on. So next up on the news doc, Steelers finalizing a trade to acquire Rams wide receiver Allen Robinson. Looks like they're going to receive a 2023 7th round pick. Steelers in exchange for Robinson and a 7th round pick. So it looks like they upgrade their 7th round pick a little bit.
Must be a quiet trade week, huh?
Yeah. That's pretty much the only trade.
Allen Robinson?
Rapid fire.
Oh, man.
Paul, good for fantasy or who cares? Smash or pass?
I'm passing on Allen Robinson, man.
Smash or pass?
Robinson in Pittsburgh, if they had a better quarterback, I'd consider it, but I'm passing.
Yeah, I'm probably going to pass. They still have Deontay Johnson there. They got the other guy, Pickens.
Mm-hmm. I like George Pickens.
They got 4 receivers, dude. They got Pickens. They traded for they traded somebody. They
Claypool.
Chase Claypool, yeah. They give a late first round pick for him.
Then they got Deontay Johnson, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bunch of
Do you guys remember last week when we were talking about players that we would never draft again? Was Allen Robinson on one of our lists?
Probably all of them.
I think.
I don't know. I didn't say him, but he's dead to me.
Yeah, he's dead in the water, my boy. I'm not touching him with any kind of picks in a draft. Not even if he got hot for 2 weeks, I probably still wouldn't take him.
Guys, with all my quarterbacks, I got no room for him. So.
Nice. All right. Next piece of news. Jaguars wide receiver Calvin Ridley says he is one of the better receivers in this league. So looks like he's hyping himself up. I'm actually mildly confident in him, especially in that Jaguars offense. Ant, you are the Calvin Ridley expert. What do you think, man?
I love it. First, he came out and said if he plays and doesn't get hurt, he's gonna throw a 1,400-yard burger.
1,400 yards, yeah.
Yeah. Now he's saying he's one of the best receivers in the league. That's a little bit of a reach, but he could be top 15 for sure with that offense. Him and Christian Kirk. That's a no-brainer in my opinion. But time will tell. He's never had a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, the thing I always remember about him is he's a route technician. He's gonna get open, man. As long as Lawrence can find him, which Lawrence is improving too. So, yeah, I like the fit. I'm with you guys. All right, let's move on to the next piece of news. So Tua Tagovailoa considered retiring from following the 2022 season due to all the concussions that he suffered. I actually just learned about this one about an hour ago before the show. Yeah, and it was like seeing the headline was kind of eye popping. I was like, geez, the guy's actually considering it. It kind of worries me a little bit from a fantasy standpoint. I know he's going to go for this next season. At least that's what it sounds like. I think it's a little bit worrisome. What do you guys think? Let's start with you, Paul.
I think for sure if he's already considering it and he's going to play this season, and if it kind of happens and duplicates the same thing as last season, I think he retires. I mean, it's injuries suck, man. I mean, it's part of the game, but concussions, that's one of the worst things that could happen for a quarterback. And, you don't want to be messing with that brain, man. So, I mean, we see a lot of guys go out and this guy's he's just getting concussed too many times. And, for his safety and for his life, if he has another season like last season, I'm pretty sure he retires.
Yeah. And everything you just said is exactly what I was thinking. Ant, you got anything to add to that?
At the end of the day, man, your health is all that matters. You got quarterbacks who are drooling, losing their memory, so on and so forth. And they get Jim McMahon. He can't even remember what he does from day to day now. This dude got knocked around for 15 years. So, I mean, if you have 3 concussions in one season, you got a future. You got kids down the line. Probably there's more than football. That's saying a lot because we're just average Joes. But I mean, at the end of the day, you still got a life to live. Outside of football, you still got to go home. Every day. So
exactly.
He could be a great quarterback. Got weapons around him. Got all the tools. Got a good coach to make him better. But I mean, if you're going to get hit, then there's nothing you can do about it. You got to call it quits at some point. But I think your question was, do I think he retires?
Or just, what do you think about it? You pretty much nailed it, man. I mean, I 1,000% agree with you. End of the day, I mean, your health is what matters most.
Andrew Luck, man, I just want to throw that out there. Look, he was look at Andrew Luck at the top, and he's at the top of his game. We're talking about, and he was talking about he was hearing people talk to him, and he was in a house by himself, like. So.
Oh man.
So let's stay.
Yeah, it's funny, but it's not funny, man. I see a lot of people talking to themselves just on a daily basis.
Shout out Mike Olmstead.
All right, let's stick with the Dolphins real quick. So Tyreek Hill set to retire after his contract with the Dolphins. I'll be honest, I think he's got 2-3 years left. That doesn't really faze me. I think he still has at least 2-3 good years left. But what I wanted to add to this piece of news is knowing what we just talked about with Tua and him contemplating retirement. Does it turn you guys off of drafting Tyreek Hill in the first round or early second? Does that bring his stock down a little bit, knowing that there's potentially that question in the back of Tua's mind that's saying that he might, if he gets another bad concussion, he might call it quits? And then knowing the backup there is Mike White, how are we feeling about Tyreek Hill? Go with you, Ant.
There's always the risk, but at the end of the day, I mean, that much talent, you might skip him in the first, even though all of our drafts we've done all this and that, we got him pretty much in the first round. I wouldn't blame you if you took him in the second, but you can't pass up him in the second round. I mean, come on, this is Tyreek Hill. I mean, come on, one play, 17 points. It's that easy. So it's high risk, high reward, but it's definitely worth banking on. Just for the top 5 aspect.
I hear you. How about you, Paul?
I don't think it hurts his fantasy value because he said he's going to play till that point. So as long as he's playing till that point within the next 2-3 years, I mean, and he's still performing the way he is, he's going to be a first round, high second round talent. So I don't think it hurts his fantasy at all. But that year right after, maybe, when it's on the fence, that's when you kind of want to start wondering about it. But I don't think we have anything to worry about for the next 3 years.
Yeah, I'm kind of right in the middle of you guys. I think the Tua news can maybe bring his draft stock down a little bit for redraft next season. It's you guys remember a few years ago you would draft Antonio Brown with like a top 3 pick, right? But you'd always worry about Big Ben because essentially when Big Ben went down, so did Antonio Brown to some extent. I don't know. I don't think I feel totally about that same way with Tyreek Hill and Tua. I still think even if like Mike White comes in, Hill can still be really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same amount of risk, I guess, with any other player. So, all right, last piece of news here. So Saquon Barkley won't sign tender before offseason program. I'll be honest, I don't know too much about this one. So Paul, I'm gonna pass it to you, man. What's going on with this one?
I think it's the same thing with Josh Jacobs with the Raiders, man. I think it's just it's gonna go all the way to the end. I think once because you really don't need these guys in the preseason at all. The running backs, they'll find their groove. It's fine. Just give them the playbook and they know what the 4-hole is or whatever. You know what I mean? I think it's fine. I think once it gets closer to the season, like usually the last week, I think the team makes a couple of moves. They kind of know what they have in place, and then they can kind of look at that money a little bit closer going into the season and try to get you add a little bit more guarantees onto that contract, or maybe find a contract extension. And that I've seen it. I mean, it happens all the time. I think it's just all talk and just all buzz, but especially with running backs, you just kind of wait it out to until the regular season starts. You should be fine. You're on mute, Ryan.
Sorry about that. Yeah. No, it's probably the normal process. I'm trying to keep the kids from screaming in the background.
I don't even hear them, man. You're good.
Man, I've heard that.
All right, that's good. Cool. And anything to add on Saquon, or it sounds pretty normal situation to me?
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to play unless they get paid. I'll say that much. Like Josh Jacobs, there's a couple others. Evan Ingram didn't sign his either. I think he'll sign his though, because I think a tight end is a little different than a running back. But Josh Jacobs, Barkley, I don't think they're going to sign unless they get paid. Because today's football, you get hurt, especially the running back now. Because the running backs are, they're not getting paid jack.
You only got 5 years, my boy.
If you get hurt, your stock drops. You go from making maybe 10 to 12 mil to making 6-7 mil like Montgomery is making now. So, I think they both sit, like Paul kind of said, once the money, levels out, once the draft picks come in, once rosters are kind of finalized, after the draft, then they shoot them extra dough, they shoot them extra incentives, whatever they got to do to spice it up. They get a deal done, probably 3-4 year deal, and he'll be there for the long term.
Be a lifelong Giant. So. All right, so that does it for the news, guys. Good little bits there, especially some good stuff in there about Jalen Hurts and the 49ers. Definitely things we're going to need to monitor going forward. So let's dive into our next segment here. We're going to do quarterbacks that have top 5 potential, and I'm talking about names that are like deep. We're talking QB 15, 16, 17, all the way to 20 that have potential to maybe get into the top 5 or be a high-end QB1. This list, I think, Paul, we got this from Fantasy Pros, right?
Yeah, correct.
Cool. So what I was thinking, guys, is we'll go down this list. We have 4 names, and then we're gonna have a sleeper pick at the end. What I'm thinking, I'll pass the first one to you guys. One of you guys makes a case for them being potentially in the top 5 by the end of the 2023 season, and then the other guy makes a case for why they won't make it into the top 5. Does that sound good? All right. Let's do it. So the first name on the list is Aaron Rodgers, if he actually makes it to the Jets. So, Paul, Ant, who wants to make the case that Aaron Rodgers could make it into the top 5 of fantasy scoring for 2023? Ant, you got it, man.
I'm all over it, man. I love Aaron Rodgers. I love it. I'll draft him earlier than anybody else will. I think this guy will win an MVP with the New York Jets. I think he'll kill it. I think they'll make the playoffs. I think they'll win the division. I can keep on going, but we only got so much time.
I love it. Yeah, no, I'm with you. Paul, make the case against him. Why shouldn't I draft Aaron Rodgers?
It's kind of hard because it's Aaron Rodgers. I like Aaron Rodgers too. But the thing about it is How did the Jets offensive line? I mean, the only thing I see with Aaron Rodgers is the injuries. I know he plays through a lot of injuries. I know the guy. I mean, he's a lot older, and it doesn't take a lot as many hits, as it used to back in the day with him, and he could just go out there and suit up the next week. But I think the only thing that scares me is he's a lot older now, and the offensive line for the Jets. I don't know how good it is. But just protection for him. I mean, that's the only reason you got to be scared of drafting Aaron Rodgers. He has all the firepower in the world if he gets to the Jets. But yeah, just protection is the only thing that that could stop you.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for you, Paul, because I actually like Aaron Rodgers too if he does make it to the Jets, and it's kind of hard. Like, I don't know about a top 5, so I'll throw it out there real quick. I don't know if he'll make it to top 5. Like, he's going to have a lot of things go right. Like, Breece Hall is going to have to be a stud. Garrett Wilson has to take that year 2 leap, which could absolutely happen. And it's Aaron Rodgers. Just got to stay healthy. The case against it, I would say injuries, just like you said, Paul. Maybe that line is a little bit shaky. He gets injured. I think this last season he had like a thumb injury or like an elbow or something like that. If he's not able to stay healthy, then he's not going to make it. Yeah. So good stuff, guys. That's good. Let's roll on to the next quarterback. So next one up is Tua Tagovailoa, ranked QB 12. Who wants to make the case for Tua breaking into the top 5?
I mean, I'll talk about it this time. I mean, before the injuries, without injuries, man, we're talking about a 16, 17 game Tua. Yeah. He's a top 5 quarterback, man. Look, he was putting up 40 points, 30 points in some leagues. I know we had a whack league for our FedEx league. I don't know. That was like one of the worst leagues, but the dude was putting up 50 points in that league. But in our standard league, he was still putting up 30. I think he topped 35. When this guy is healthy, he's got Tyreek, he's got Waddle. I mean, the guys he's got the receivers on the outside. Those are the only 2 receivers you need. And I think they're going to go and draft a tight end here and help out with the security blanket there. But when he is on his game, Tua is amazing to watch, man. He could easily crack the top 5 if he stays healthy.
It's a pretty convincing case. There was a stretch of weeks there, right, where he was averaging like 35 points or something crazy. Like,
yeah, it was amazing. Like I didn't expect that from him.
I could see him doing it again. Yeah, good stuff, Paul. And you got a case against Tua? Why he won't make it?
Inconsistent. Way too inconsistent, man. He'll give you 60 points one week, 12 points 3 straight weeks. He'll give you 28 the week following. It's too inconsistent, man. I'd rather have a quarterback give me 20, 25, every week, or 20, 23 range than a quarterback who's going to go out and throw a dud because he can't make accurate throws. But yeah, like, I was actually just looking at his numbers. He had a couple weeks where he had 30, like you guys said. He had like 3 weeks in a row where he had 30 in like the high 20s. But then the guy had literally half his games were under 20. So I mean, it's not convincing on my part yet. I don't think he'll sniff top 5. I think he'll be maybe top 10 if he had played the full. You got to play full season to be top 5 too.
Yeah, that's the big question mark. Is his health?
You got to play a full season to be top 5, and that's obviously that's the biggest question mark with him, like you just said.
That's probably the number one reason why he wouldn't make the top 5. I mean, after seeing what happened last season, yeah, good case, Ant. Yeah, this is a tough one. I think he's worth me personally. I think he's worth taking a shot on the back end of the draft. Just in the event that he does stay healthy, but it's a little risky. All right, next quarterback on the dock, Mr. Billy. He's gonna like this one. Russell Wilson, QB 17. Who wants to take the burden of trying to tell us why Russell Wilson's going to be a top 5 QB? Any show of hands? Anybody want to do it?
I'll do it.
All right.
I got to put a straight face on for this one because I love Russell Wilson to death. Great quarterback. Loved him in Seattle. Loved how he played the game. Loved how he was a constant winner. But at the end of the day, winning doesn't always get you wins in fantasy. You just because you have a great record in the NFL doesn't mean you're going to put up points every week in fantasy. I think he does do a lot better. Sean Payton will fix that. He'll do tons better with the. I think both of that 1-2 punch at running back will do great for him. I think he needs more help at receiver. To be honest, that might sound stupid, but I'm not huge on Cortland Sutton. And Jerry Jeudy, who knows about that guy? I like Jerry Jeudy, but you need to see more. You need consistency from Jerry Jeudy, and you're not getting the consistency. You saw it towards the end of the season. You saw flashes where he put up some high games, but yeah, if you get some more talent around him, yeah, he could already be top 5, but you need some couple more pieces around him. They did put some big guys around in front of him, the O-line. So that's a big plus right there. They added like 3 O-linemen. So
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they did beef up the O-line.
He's been hit his whole career. So
yeah, no kidding. I think the big one that you touched on was Sean Payton. If there's anybody that could maybe revitalize his career, it might be Sean Payton. Paul, what's your case against Russell Wilson?
I think he's washed up, man. I haven't liked him since the last season in Seattle when he came off the injury with his shoulder, and he just hasn't thrown the ball the same way he threw the previous 6 years. Just the way he throws the ball is flat. I mean, his little moon shots are just they're not the same. It's not the same Russell Wilson from the first 6-7 years he was there. I seen it when he came to Denver, because I'm a Raiders fan, so I'm watching those games, and it's just like, man, where's Danger Russ at, man? I used to love Danger Russ, man. I remember I was drafting 3 straight years in a row just because I wanted my fantasy name to be Danger Russ. I mean, he's just not the same anymore, man. I think the shoulder injury that he got in Seattle really messed him up. I still don't think he's back from it. I know it's something about they put a bolt or a screw in there. The mechanics are off. I know he's going to have a new coach in here, and I know he's a wizard, but I think I just think he's too hurt, man, and he's just lost all his mechanics. He's done, man.
I wouldn't blame you for thinking that after what we saw last season. I think it's just time will tell, I guess. If he comes out and looks like crap this next season, then yeah, I agree with you. He might just end up being washed. So, all right, good arguments, guys. So let's go to the next one on the list. Dak Prescott, QB9.
I'll do the good.
And do you want to make the case for him?
I'll do the good part, and you do the bad part.
Yeah, you want me to do the good?
I'll do the good. You do the bad.
Okay.
Nah, I'm kidding, man. I know.
I was gonna say, go ahead. It'll be interesting.
Go ahead and do the good, Ant. I know you're licking your chops when you see this one on. Let's go ahead.
Man, this guy has top flight potential every year. Every year he can be a top 5 quarterback, top 7 quarterback. Like I said, time and time again. But time and time again, he proves us wrong, and he's only done it probably twice, maybe 3 times. He has the weapons. With Zeke leaving, I think that actually helps him, as long as our line stays healthy. And I think Michael Gallup would help him out a little bit. He never really had a chance to come off the ACL. I don't know. People said he was good. Trainers and everybody said he was good to go, but he never looked like Michael Gallup. And anybody knows what Michael Gallup looks like. He's not like blowing anybody away, but he wasn't looking like that beforehand. He was a lot better than that. He made more cuts, faster on the deep routes. I think he'll help him out. And then our draft, I think we're going to go offense. So that should help out Dak.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I also think, what do you think about Brandon Cooks? I think Cooks is still good.
Brandon Cooks is, I don't want to say very good, but he's very consistent.
Yeah.
Very, very consistent. And that'll do wonders for Dak on the other side.
For sure.
He's had like 1,000 yards almost every year he's played football. He doesn't get hurt. So, yeah, that doesn't bother me at all. I think we add another receiver in the draft or go tight end maybe within the first couple of rounds. I think our offense would be hard to stop.
Nice. All right, good case. Paul, you got a case against Dak? Oh, he's warming up for it.
Sounds a little biased to me, Ryan. He said everything that a Cowboys fan would say. All right, let me tell you something about the interception king here. All right, let me spit a little something here. The guy hasn't been the same since his kneecap broke the other way, or his foot. I don't care. I mean, he reminds me so much of Derek Carr, man. I don't know what you see in this guy. I've seen a couple of games where he throws it right to the defensive player, man. Like, what are you doing? I don't know. The guy, he goes out there, he plays scared all the time, man. I see, yeah, he has his flashes where he'll throw those 3 touchdown games, but the word I'm looking for is consistency, and he's not a consistent quarterback. Just like Ant was talking about Tua, I see the same thing with that. I mean, yeah, he started off slow. I know he was coming back from injury the season before, but he's not consistent to me, man. And he just throws way too many interceptions.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm not huge on Dak, but I kind of side on the side of Ant on this one. They have Brandon Cooks and Gallup coming back, but I mean, I don't think he'll be a super popular.
You throw my boy Jose at tight end. He's that doesn't really matter, man. I don't know if that actually helps, but I mean, you can
the
put
one night
anybody
on here, we talk about that.
he might lose a pinky in that one, huh? Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter who you put with him, man. The guy, his decision making, that's what it is, man.
Yeah, it's a little suspect. I'll agree. That's a good. He's going at QB9 too, at least in the rankings right now, so he's not far off of that top 5. If things break right, I could see it happening. Yeah, that'll be interesting one to watch. So for the 5th one here, we don't actually have a name, but what I want to do, each of us, let's each pick a quarterback that we think has potential to break into the top 5 that maybe is not in the top 5 at the moment. So Paul, I'm going to go ahead and start with you, man, because you got one on the list here. Give Ant a little bit of time to pick something. So who is your sleeper quarterback that could potentially break into the top 5?
So this is what I did the year before. I saw Jalen Hurts finish off the year extremely well, and that's what I took it into the next season. Like, the way he finished, I was sold. Like, when I went into last year's draft, I was sold like, I need to make sure I get Jalen Hurts at some time the year before. And I was hoping to get it. I got him in the 8th round, I was surprised. But he was always on there because when I was drafting, I was like, okay, there's 2 other quarterbacks ranked in front of him, and I know those guys will go before him. But I was just lucky enough to get him there because of how he ended. Like I'm saying, how he ended that season the year before. He was on fire. The guy was throwing 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. He was putting up 25 points, 30 points. And what it reminds me of is Trevor Lawrence on how he ended the season last year. He was just amazing. Even in the playoffs, I know he threw 4 picks or 3 or 4 picks to start the game, but how he ended it, if you put that in fantasy points, the guy had like 4 touchdowns still. So, he still would have got you like at least 25 points. So the way he's ended the last season, and with all the talent that he has, he's got all those receivers. He's got the tight end. Hopefully he signs that that tender. There shouldn't be no reason why this guy can't, crack the top 5. I'm going into next season already putting him in my top 5. I like him right after Burrow. When I'm drafting, he's up there, man. That's
spicy. I like it though. Made a good case for him. Yeah, I agree. Trevor Lawrence, man, he looked good at the end of the season, and man, I drafted him in the 12th round, and I don't have diamond hands, and I dropped his ass by like week 3.
That'd have been a nice keeper, man.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah.
All right, Ant, do you got one yet? If you don't,
yeah, I took a gander. He actually took mine. I was the biggest Trevor Lawrence hater for the past 3 years. The guy is actually showing signs. I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. He's looking good. He's only going to get better. I'm all on the train with that one. But I'll do, other than Rodgers, which I already said earlier in the podcast, I'll do Justin Herbert. Herbert throws for crazy amounts of yards every year. I just think, like Paul says, consistency. He needs to be consistent 2-3 touchdown game guy. He's too consistent. I know he had no weapons for like half the season last year, if not longer. Other than Eckler, so he had 107 catches. But Herbert, he to the ceiling, man. With what he could do, man. He throws for 5,000 yards every year. He can throw for 35 TDs with ease, and he has like nobody on his team a lot of the time. They're all hurt, they're all banged up. His line's always banged up. He's dealt the worst hand out of all the quarterbacks, no brainer, and he still puts up numbers. They're not, top 5 numbers, but with a little more luck on the side, with a little more, a little more health, a little more, big guys up front helping him out a little more. I think he could easily slide in the top 5.
Hey, QB7 he was, or he's ranked. Yeah, he's QB7, and Trevor Lawrence is QB8 on the rankings.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Herbert's got the talent too, man. Like he absolutely could get there.
It's hard, man. 3 or 4 quarterbacks are going to make it already. Almost no brainer. You got Josh Allen, you got Patrick Mahomes, you got Herbert. I'm not Herbert. You got Hurts. You know, those 3 quarterbacks right there are guaranteed. You know, almost guaranteed. So I mean, you can only squeeze 2 more in there. Another one maybe like Lamar Jackson, but he's already been there. So I mean, you can't really.
And there's 12 teams, man. You got 12 fantasy teams. I mean, I might even be a douchebag, and I might take Burrow in the second round, and run 2 power quarterbacks. Shout out to my boy Ant Royster, huh?
The power quarterback.
Hey, I'm gonna run the power Q. You know what I mean? Do that.
Hey,
somebody's gonna trade me.
Robust QB.
Somebody will trade me.
That'll get you. Trevor Lawrence will get you an RB2 easy. Easy.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go next. So, do you guys ever? I'm gonna dive real deep from mine.
Yikes.
So deep, like how when you got a bag of Cheetos, right, and you're getting to the end, and it's nothing but the little crumbs at the bottom, and you're looking for that last good one. That's what I'm about to do right here. So we're gonna go into. So they got him about QB 13 right now. He's kind of like a mid QB 2-ish. I think Danny turnovers or Daniel.
No way.
Daniel Jones.
No
I
way.
said I'm going to the bottom of the Cheeto bag. I'm going all the way to the bottom.
Oh my goodness.
Yo.
This guy's never thrown 20 touchdowns in his career.
my boy Brock Purdy for his Niners over here. He threw way more than him, and he was. Come on, man.
Those are some stale Cheetos, bro.
It's the bottom of the bag. I'm gonna make a case. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but here's my argument.
That is all right. I got to hear this, man.
All right. The biggest reason why I would say Daniel Jones has a chance. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but if we're really searching the bottom of the chip bag, right, looking for the one last good chip, it's because of the coach, Brian Dable. He is the same coach that took Josh Allen 4 years ago or 3 years ago. Remember, if you guys remember, Josh Allen in that first and second year was a turnover machine, dude. He was overthrowing dudes. There were GIFs on Twitter all the time about him overthrowing guys in the end zone. All he was really known for was running the ball, rushing in the end zone area. And he basically took Josh Allen and that cannon of an arm and turned him into something special. At least he contributed to it. I'm not saying Danny Turnovers or Daniel Jones has the talent of Josh Allen, but I think we did see some improvement in that first year with Brian Dable, and I think with another year, you could potentially see more. I think where he is lacking, at least on the Giants, is there's not a huge selection of weapons. Isaiah Hodgins is coming back. They have Sterling Shepard still. They have Saquon. So there's going to be some continuity. But with another year under Dable, I could totally see another jump up for Daniel Jones. Even though I don't really like the guy, like from a fantasy perspective, I usually don't draft him. That's just my case. I think there's a shot that he could be a potential top 5 guy. Does it feel good? No. Usually when you get to the end of the bag, does it taste that great? Nah, it's a bunch of crumbs, but really there's a chance.
Get that guy off the waivers.
Yeah, I'll take him like the 15th.
You want me to draft? I really thought you were going to say Justin Fields, but
Justin Fields is the top quarterback.
I think he's already top 6-ish.
Oh.
Yeah, he's up there already, man. Yeah.
Stop that.
All right. Hey, that was a good segment, guys. You guys had some good ones. Better than my pick. I just had to spice it up a little bit for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, you threw up a little bit. Yeah, you threw it way out there in left field, man. Jesus. We're trying to help the people here, Ryan. Come on.
Hey, look at this. This guy's jumping in. Billy F. Gates.
Hey.
What's going on, man?
Ain't not too much, bro. I really can't talk.
Yo,
I really can't talk. This is why I said I was like, I'm not doing it tonight.
Yikes. Hey.
I just wanted to show my face.
Voice.
It's horrible, bro.
Oh man. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next segment. We're getting close to the hour here. Might run over a tad, but we're getting close. So our next segment, we're going to go over negative regression touchdown candidates. So that's kind of wordy, but basically what it means are players that have scored a lot of touchdowns in the previous season that are high or have a high likelihood of potentially not scoring as many touchdowns as they did the previous season. So we got a pretty big list here. Let's just go ahead and start off. We'll do a quick roundtable. Tell me what you guys think. If whether you guys agree or disagree. Do you think this player can repeat, or do you think they'll, regress hard to the mean or regress hard to below the mean? You guys tell me, what do you think? We'll keep it quick. We got a big list. I think there's like almost 10 names on here, so it's going to be fun. So first up on the list, this guy was potentially a league winner for somebody. I know Billy had him on one of his teams, and the dude was like a RB1/RB2 for most of the season. That guy is a running back. He was with the Detroit Lions, now with the New Orleans Saints. Jamal Williams finished off with 17 touchdowns last year. Expected touchdowns of 10, had a difference of 6.63 for last season. Or actually, they got to take that back. That's prediction for this next season, 10.
Predicted,
so,
yeah, okay.
Yeah, what do you guys think? Jamal Williams. Billy, let's start with you, man.
Man, I know I had him last year. But I think, to be honest with you, I think that he doesn't. I think he maybe gets like 6. Being that's a stacked backfield over there, you still got to deal with Kamara. I mean, really depends if he's gonna play or how many games he's out. But I think it's around 5 to 6 touchdowns, especially with that offense.
I'm with you there. Yeah, I think it's with Kamara. If Kamara plays, yeah. And what do you think, man? Think it gets close to that number?
Yeah, I think he gets 10. Not even that difficult either. Kamara probably does get suspended the way the NFL is. He'll probably get 4 games, something like that. I'm just worried about the Saints' offense in general. We haven't seen nothing from them in a while. A couple seasons, no consistency, injuries every year, no solid quarterback play, and now they signed Derek Carr. So we'll see how that works out. But I think he could easily touch 10 with ease. It just depends on. They always had a good O-line, big bullies up front. So I think it just depends on overall the offensive chemistry.
Nice. Paul, what do you think, man?
I think with if Kamara gets suspended, I think he gets over 10. I think if he doesn't get the suspension, I think he's under 10. And I think if he's that backup that the shared split role for sure, he gets about 7 touchdowns. I think that's kind of where he's at, because like George was saying, I mean, when you're splitting with Kamara, man, Kamara's your go-to running back. He's catching the ball on third down for those quick passes. So most likely he'll be on the field a lot more than Jamal Williams would be.
Yeah, Kamara sure did get me a Monday night victory against Jose. Hey, what happened? Where's he at? Why didn't he show up? Because I didn't show up. He thought it was over.
No show. You know how he is.
What a loser, man.
Living up to the moniker. So, all right, next on the list, we have Tony Pollard. Finished with 12 touchdowns last season. His expected was 8 touchdowns, so 4 over. I don't know about this one. And let's start with you, man. How do you feel? What do you think about Tony Pollard?
He's going to blow it up. Austin Eckler 2.0. Watch. Anybody who takes him. Y'all laughing now.
I was coughing. Coughing, man.
I said y'all laughing now. I mean, we got one guy who just doing the chat. Got the giggles. Yeah, you over there, you coughing, looking like you laughing. So it is what it is.
I'm coughing, man.
Tony Pollard's going to kill it this year. He's going to blow it up. He's going to have 10 plus rushing TDs, probably 5 receiving. I say I got him around the 15 to 20 range.
All right. I
like it.
He is the Cowboys' offense.
How about you, Paul? Does he regress to the mean?
I think he regresses, and I think the expected touchdowns 8. He's right around there, 8 to 9. I don't think he cracks double digits. I think he stays right there. I think I'd be aware of the Cowboys drafting a rookie running back in a draft, and I think that could potentially be some play, because we'll know after the draft, and then because I don't think you want to lean too much everything on Tony Pollard. You want to keep him healthy, man. I mean, you got him. He's coming off an injury. And I think that's what it's going to be. I think he's going to have a little bit of a timeshare with a rookie coming in there and helping him out a little bit.
Billy, how about you, man?
Yeah, man, my 49ers took him out, man. And I don't know how long they took him out for, but it's going to be for a while. You know what I'm saying? But I think that, he may crack 10, but I don't think it's what Ant's saying.
You don't think he gets 15 touchdowns?
I don't think he gets 15, man.
Come on, man.
Nah. I think it's like what Paul's saying, man. You got to think what happens in this draft. They obviously let Z go for a reason. I don't think that, especially with what he broke, I think that it's a really like wait and see type of thing. Those first couple games, man, we'll see where he's at with it. That's really, that's why I'm saying around 10 touchdowns. That seems about right.
Yeah, I'm just kind of reading through the blurb here. I think what you said, Billy, is the biggest thing for me is who do they bring in as another running back? Do they bring in somebody like Leonard Fournette? Do they draft a running back? I know we hear rumors about Bijan, but I also heard rumors of like maybe bringing in somebody like Roschon Johnson as a rookie. I think it just depends on what the situation is. I kind of side on him actually maybe going over 12 touchdowns depending on that offensive situation. That's my personal opinion. I think he does kind of play like Austin Eckler. It just depends on the offense for Dallas, in my opinion. The other thing too, their offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, left. Zeke is gone. So, it's just some question marks, but I at 12 touchdowns, I actually think he really could go over that. It wouldn't surprise me if he did, but that's a tough one. All right. Next on the list, we have Austin Eckler. Had 18 touchdowns last season, expected 14 touchdowns. What do you guys think? Let's start with Paul on this one.
Yeah, there's no way he's getting back to the promised land with 18 touchdowns. I love Austin Eckler. I still think he's a great talent. I still think he's got some juice in the tank. But like I said, the same thing with Tony Pollard. I think they're going to bring something in the draft, or like you said, maybe bringing a Leonard Fournette to kind of ease the workload off of him a little bit. But 14 touchdowns, I can see that. The guy catches a lot of passes out of the backfield. 14, I was thinking kind of like a 12 to 13 range, so kind of like right there in the 14, but a little bit lower than 14. But I think that's a good spot for him.
Nice. Billy, let's go with you next.
Oh, sorry. Who was this for again? Sorry.
Austin Eckler.
Eckler? Oh, yeah, my other guy that I had. 18? That's a little too high, man. I think it's around 15. Obviously, he's the go-to in LA, but he's, he made a public statement saying he wanted to be traded. That weighs heavy, especially on off, like the, coaches and everything. That could take him out of potentially a lot of plays. When a coach gets mad at you or an organization doesn't like you no more because of the things you say or your actions saying that you want to be traded, you want out, that tends to hurt a player sometimes. And if he had nowhere to go and he has to stick around, well, that's on him. There's consequences to every action, man. So I don't think it's 18. I think it's less than 15, to be honest. I think he barely cracks 15 at the end of the season.
Yeah, I feel you. Ant, what do you think, man? Does he go over or under?
Stays in San Diego, he has a chance. Go somewhere else, probably not.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm going to go with the probably doesn't hit it.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's hard to do. 18 TDs again, that's hard. And I think San Diego won't be not San Diego. Sorry, LA won't be as banged up as they have been in the past. But right now, yeah, I don't see it. But if he stays in San Diego, it could happen. Just because how Herbert dumps the ball off so much.
LA, man, not San Diego. LA.
Nah, they San Diego still. It's just like how Sleep Train used to be Arco Arena. It's always Arco Arena, man.
Didn't they blow it up?
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah, they sure did.
Why did I just find that out, man? I didn't even know they blew up Arco.
That was like a year ago.
I didn't even know
they
that.
had like a farewell event.
I didn't even know that.
They had a whole farewell event. Everybody was invited. You could have had a piece of Arco and all this other stuff. Like you could have got like some chairs and things out of the arena.
What? That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Chairs.
My voice is shit, bro. God damn.
I'll finish off Austin Eckler real quick. So I don't think he hits 18 touchdowns. I mean, Ant, you nailed it. If he stays with LA, he's got a shot. If he goes anywhere else outside of the Bengals, which is highly, highly, highly unlikely, I just don't think he's going to hit that same production. So doesn't mean I'm off of him in the first round. I still think he totally has the talent, could more than make up the points with receiving work, but
I agree with that, sir.
Touchdowns is going to regress, I think. All right, next on the list, we have a receiver, Christian Watson, Green Bay Packers. He finished the last season with 9 touchdowns with an expected of 3.35. This guy burst onto the scene late season, might have been a league winner for some people. Billy, let's start with you, man. How you feel about Christian Watson? Does he get the 9? Does he regress hard to the mean now that potentially Rodgers is going to be gone? What do you think?
Look, man, it don't matter. A good receiver is always going to be a good receiver. Yes, at the beginning of the season, Christian Watson made some boneheaded plays that threw Aaron Rodgers off, and that's why it took all the way to later on in the season for Aaron Rodgers to start hitting him again. It was that early, the first, second week, that long 50-yard bomb that he dropped. Week 1, there you go, week 1, that he dropped, that kind of like hindered his opportunities with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you got to think about this. Aaron Rodgers expects greatness out of everybody, but later on in that season, he came into form. He did what he needed to do. But give me this kid to have like 18 touchdowns, man. He's going to be the star on Green Bay, regardless of Aaron Rodgers or not. This is going to be Jordan Love's go-to guy on that field, and I feel like this is going to be a great season for him.
I feel it. Ant, what do you think, man?
I'm honestly kind of stumped with this one. This caught me off guard. They have nobody else in Green Bay, so it wouldn't surprise me if he hit the 9. But I'm going to say no. I'm going to say he don't hit 9. I'm going to say he's right around the 6-7 range. But it wouldn't surprise me. They have nobody around him. Jordan Love. I'm honestly more worried about Jordan Love than I am about Christian Watson.
That's a good point. Yeah, very good point. Paul, what do you think, man?
So he had 9 actual touchdowns last season. They're expecting him only 3.35, so maybe 4 touchdowns this season. The disrespect, the disrespect of a receiver. I get it. I get Jordan Love's probably going to take over, but geez, man, you don't disrespect a guy like that. I mean, I think he gets 1,000 yards and 1,100 yards and 7, maybe 8 touchdowns. I think he's that type of receiver, just because, like we're all saying, I don't know what to expect from Buddy Love over there in Green Bay. So I mean, yeah, I mean, the game I saw Love play, one was good and one was just horrible. So you got a mixed bag with this guy, and if he's not throwing darts and he's not throwing it on target, it's not Christian Watson's fault. So that's the big key here. But to get more than 3.5, yes, he gets more than 3.5. He's getting 7 touchdowns this season.
I was being highly optimistic for my guy Christian, bro.
I'll throw my 2 cents. I'll be honest. Like my initial first impression or first take that comes to mind is that I'll probably stay away from drafting him, which sucks because he's a second-year receiver and has that chance to break out. Part of me says, somebody has to catch the ball in Green Bay, right? Like he's probably going to be the number 1. But the other side of me is like, you could have made that same exact argument for Darnell Mooney a couple seasons ago, and look how that turned out.
Darnell Mooney.
Who's
that?
Who?
Who's that?
Well, he was the number 1 in Chicago.
You know we playing.
It's such a disaster. I mean, it's
Mooney.
So Christian Watson. I mean, I think he's talented. I'm worried about Jordan Love and that whole Packers offense. I do kind of think they have a chance to be better than advertised, but I just don't know how good from a passing standpoint with Jordan Love. So I think he regresses below 9, probably be in that 5, 6, 7 range. 7 at the highest. All right, next on the list, and Paul, you ain't gonna like this one, man. So I'm gonna start with you. Devontae Adams, Las Vegas, had 14 touchdowns last season, expected 9 coming up. What do you think, man?
Yeah, he's not cracking 14 touchdowns. But he definitely is going to have more than 9 touchdowns. I think he dips down a couple. I think he goes to like 12 touchdowns this season. He's still an elite wide receiver, man. You still can't sleep on Devontae Adams, man. I don't care who's throwing the ball. It could be Jimmy G, my boy Brian Hoyer. It could be whoever we pick as a rookie. It doesn't matter who's throwing him the football, man. My boy's gonna make enough space for him to, catch the football, and he's gonna yards after the catch. I mean, Devontae's just that good, and I still think he has about 12 touchdowns next season.
All right, let's go to Ant next. What do you think, Ant?
I'm gonna do the same thing Georgia said about Christian Watson. What do receivers do? What do good receivers do? That's what they do. Good receivers, they make plays regardless. Devontae Adams, probably the best receiver in football, arguably. He's going to make moves regardless. He's going to make plays regardless. He's going to get open regardless. I don't care who's throwing the ball. Like Paul said, he's going to get open regardless. He's going to have one game where he has 3 TDs, one game where he has no TDs. But those 3 TDs, 0 TD games are going to average out, and he's going to have around 14, 15. So, yeah, I think he gets 14 again. That's not even hard to do for him. I don't care who's throwing the ball. It could be Baker Mayfield. It could be Jordan Love. It could be Jimmy Garoppolo. It could be Brian Hoyer. It could be some rookie like
Paul. My boy Jarrett Stidham last season threw him 2 touchdowns.
Any quarterback in the league, and he still put up
Jarrett Stidham. I don't even know who that is anymore.
Just the fact that Jimmy G is a veteran, he at least knows what to do with the football. We all know what he's done on the Niners. He's iffy, wishy-washy from week to week, but he still knows how to throw the football to an extent. And Devontae Adams on the slant routes all day long, 10, 15 yards, cake, 14, 15 with these.
I like it. Billy, what do you think, man?
Man, look, I can't argue with myself. A good point that Ant brought up. I can't do that. But look, man, I'll say this. I think he does go above 9. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think he gets like 12, like Paul's saying. And only reason is because he is the best wide receiver in the NFL. But the only thing is, all his touchdowns are gonna have to be from outside of the red zone. That's the only caveat to this. Everything will have to be behind that 20-yard line. And I only say this because I know what happens in the red zone with Jimmy G. He can't get it done in the red zone. He is horrible in the red zone. We've seen it with the Niners. I mean, he got carried by Debo. He got carried by Elijah. He got carried by Mostert and George Kittle. So again, I feel like every single touchdown is going to come from outside of that red zone. He may get one in the red zone, but that's about it. Everything else, it's going to be Devontae Adams doing some dirty work, hard work. He's going to earn his money this season. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm going to kind of just go with all of you guys. I think that he's going to get over that double-digit mark for sure. A lot of it, I didn't really think about Jimmy G in the red zone too much. I remember what I saw of Devontae last season and him being just deadly at the line of scrimmage and those short yardage catches and stuff. Just the talent. I think the talent is going to shine out in this one. So I'm not too worried about Devontae. Does he hit 14? Probably not. But like you said, probably 11, 12, 13 maybe. That's still worthy of a high pick. All right, next up, Jahan Dotson, Washington Commanders. He had 7 touchdowns last year as a rookie. Expected 2.86. Different to 4.14.
Yikes.
What are we feeling about Jahan Dotson?
That has to be due to the quarterback, man.
First of all, before you start with anybody, who's their quarterback?
Good question. I'm forgetting his name.
Yeah, I'll pass.
It's not on here.
Yeah, I'll pass.
I think he was a rookie last year.
I don't know.
I'll take this one real quick, and we could pass it on. We could move on. I can't remember the name of the quarterback, but I think he was a rookie last season, and they're high on him. But it's a total unknown. Like, we do not know what this guy is going to do coming in the first year as a starting quarterback. It's bugging me. I'm going to go find it here in a second. I think Jahan Dotson is what's his name?
You're talking about the Redskins quarterback?
Yeah.
I think they're going to start Sam Howell.
Sam Howell. That's what it is.
I think it's going to start.
It's Sam Howell.
Well, I think that they signed Brissett too, I think. But you never know.
They got Brisket?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Oh, my boy, Jacoby Brisket.
Yeah. They're talking about starting Sam Howell, but I don't know how that's going to turn. I don't believe it until after the draft.
I'll start this one then. I think Jahan Dotson is extremely talented. The guy is just an absolute playmaker. Had some amazing catches. He's still the number 2 with Terry McLaurin in the offense. They have a new quarterback, Sam Howell. They got Jacoby Brisket, who, I think Brisket's not that bad, man. But I would say this. The X factor for me for that whole Commanders offense, and maybe you guys forgot, I almost forgot, they have Eric Bieniemy from Kansas City as their offensive coordinator now. I think that's mildly interesting, just from my opinion. I don't know what that looks like from an offensive standpoint. We know what Kansas City is. Obviously, Sam Howell's not Patrick Mahomes, but do they take some of those same concepts and try to implement them into the Commanders? I think it's mildly interesting. Does Jahan Dotson, does he get the 7 touchdowns again? I think the only way he hits that is if like McLaurin goes down on injury and Dotson becomes a number 1. What do you
Don't
guys?
they still have Curtis Samuel too?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. Yep.
How do you know that Sam Howell is not no Pat Mahomes, man? How do you know that?
You're right. We don't know.
Hey, he could sneak into the top 5. We kind of missed him earlier in the show. You never know.
Wasn't even on the list.
Are they going to implement that Chiefs little rodeo thing that we saw?
Yeah, who knows?
I hate
Yeah.
that thing.
Let's do a quick roundtable. Billy, does he get the 7? Yes or no?
No.
Ant?
Yes.
Ooh, I like it.
I like the guy.
All right. I like it. What about you, Paul? No. There's 3 no's and a yes. Although Ant, I'm kind of with you. Like I said no, but I actually do like him as a receiver. So
You want to say yes, though,
I
huh?
think Bynum needs to do wonders. He could be a gadget guy. He missed like 5 games last year and he had 7 TDs. So I mean, you're missing that point of it too. This guy could have put up double-digit TDs.
Yeah, Tyler Heineke is a quarterback.
It don't matter. He had 7 TDs and he missed 5 games.
Cool.
all right. Next up, this is an interesting one. Taysom Hill, quarterback, tight end, whatever you want to call him. He had 9 touchdowns last season. Is expected as 0.73, less than 1 touchdown. What do we think about Taysom Hill? Does he do it again?
Unless he goes to Denver, I don't think so, man. That was Sean Payton's go-to guy, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he didn't have Peyton last year.
You're right.
He's still with the Saints, right? Like,
Is he?
Yeah, I think he's still with the Saints.
Is he still with the Saints? Who's the coach over there?
Is it Dennis
Allen? Dennis Allen.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Taysom Hill's. I mean, he's a gadget player.
Why are we talking about Taysom Hill?
Check this out. Check this out. This is a quick one right here. They didn't really have a quarterback. I get it. They did it with Drew Brees a little bit, but Derek Carr's going to be in there under center every snap. He's not going to get the same chances that he normally gets.
Over there.
So Derek Carr's going to be under center. Derek Carr's not going to come out of the game and let this guy over there and kind of change momentum. It's not going to happen. This guy's going to have to be strictly a tight end, and he's not going to get 9 touchdowns. I think he's well under that. They predict him only like 1 touchdown this season. I think he gets more than that, but I think he gets you about 4.
So my 2 cents, I think it all depends on what number Derek Carr is going to wear. Do you know what number Derek Carr is going to wear, Paul? Is it a single digit?
He's dead to me, man.
Is it? What number did he wear with the Raiders?
Number 4.
It's a single digit. Okay. Yeah, I say Taysom Hill gets close to 9 touchdowns. They're about this is why. They both got single digits on their jersey. They're both about the same height. So you don't know who's in there. So trick plays.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, Derek Carr is still wearing number 4 too.
Yeah.
Oh man. Aunt Billy, what do you guys think?
No chance.
Nothing.
Yeah, when he said
Derek Carr, there's no way he's going to have any TDs. Like Paul said, Derek Carr is the signal caller. 100% Derek Carr behind center. And if he's going to be just a tight end, who is he going to burn? Who is he going to beat on the defense? Like, come on, man. This guy only scored because he was a trick play, a little razzle-dazzle crap. Other than that, man, this guy's straight bum.
Taysom Hill, the bum. I got it. All right, Billy, over, under. Think he hits 9? Under?
Under.
Big time.
I get it. He's not a popular pick, but we'll all be dropping huge fab for him by week 4 when he goes off for 35 points.
When he's considered a tight end again, throwing touchdowns.
He's already 33 years old?
Yeah, I didn't.
He's only been in the league like 5 years.
Yeah, yikes.
He has like the Brandon Whedon.
I don't know.
Got drafted late.
I feel like they're gonna make a movie about him someday. Got into the league late, all against the odds. Can't throw the ball, but can run it.
It's gonna be like the Kurt Warner movie, like on Lifetime.
Oh, that's what Tebow should have been.
All right. Next up on the list, George Kittle, tight end, San Francisco, had 11 touchdowns last season. Expected touchdowns just under 5 with 4.89. George,
Billy, with my guy, bro.
Billy, I'm starting off with you, man.
They short. I'm about to lose my voice even more, bro.
You get mad.
Come on, man. Hey, what we talking about here? Once Brock Purdy's back, hopefully he's back. I mean, I read some reports saying that he might miss the whole season. Who knows? But man, George Kittle, man, he's gonna have way more than 5. He's gonna be double digits again this year. He's gonna show you. He's gonna show people why he's the number 1 tight end in this league. You know what I'm saying? I feel like he gets double digits this season. He's gonna go crazy. He's gonna do what he needs to do. Trey Lance is gonna get him that ball, man. Get him at least 10 touchdowns this season.
All right, Ant, let's go with you.
He lost me with the top tight end and the Trey Lance. Trey Lance won't be a Niner. He's not the top tight end, but he will give you over 10 TDs. Him and Purdy had a good chemistry. They look real good, and I think the sky's the limit for him with Purdy. I think he rejuvenates him. I think it makes him better. He was going to do a little stint there where he wasn't doing junk.
Nothing.
He was doing a stint where he was
pass blocking.
Yeah, he was pass blocking, and he was getting like 2 catches a game, like 19 yards, and then Purdy came in, fed him in the red zone, and this guy was scoring 3 TDs a game. I'm all about that.
Paul, what about you, man?
With Brock Purdy, yes, he's double digits. Without Brock Purdy, he goes back to just blocking and just doing what the old George Kittle used to do, and 2 catches and 10 yards. But yeah, Brock Purdy, we all know that he changed the game for George Kittle. We all saw that postseason, end of the season, and since he basically took the over under center. So yeah, but with that chemistry is just unbelievable. Without him, he's just another blocking tight end, man.
Do you think that Trey Lance is gonna go back to running? And that's the whole reason why George Kittle was doing a lot of the pass blocking, was because of the way that Trey Lance was able to be like Lamar Jackson. With that broken leg, I don't think he's gonna be running. I think he's gonna end up turning into more of a pocket passer and trying to get that ball out.
Well, he's got a lot of work to do with that pocket passing.
He showed the fuck. Yeah. He sure does, man.
He's got a lot of work to do.
I don't know. We were talking earlier in the news about the trade request that they're getting for Trey Lance.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me if they traded him. I think it's Purdy's job. And I'll agree with the rest of you guys. If Purdy's the starting quarterback, Kittle, man, that's a top 2, top 3 tight end for fantasy for me. I mean, when Purdy got in the lineup, he damn near turned into Travis Kelce from a production standpoint. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't pass that up. So the 11 touchdowns over under, I would say if Purdy's there and he starts all 16, 17 games, he could hit the over, in my opinion. So, yeah, good stuff, guys. So last one on the list, and we'll wrap up the show. Got another tight end, Juwan Johnson for New Orleans. He had 7 touchdowns last year, surprisingly. And I think this guy was on the waiver wire pretty much the whole season.
I think everybody shared a little piece of him every other week.
I know he was on my roster a couple times, but he was always the first guy I'd cut. So, Paul, let's start with you, man. Does he hit 7 over or under?
I think he hits. I think he's over 7 just because Derek Carr is there. Derek Carr likes to spread that football around. He likes the tight ends. He had when Darren Waller was healthy. Darren Waller, was amazing. Even with our backup, Foster Moreau. He would throw it to him. I think with Derek Carr in New Orleans and Juwan Johnson there, he's got good talent at the tight end. Yeah, I'm for sure. Yeah, I'm taking the over with that.
I like it. Billy, let's go with you.
I agree with Paul, man. You got Derek Carr who can sling that rock. He loves his tight ends, man. I say that Juwan Johnson's gonna have himself a good year, man. I think he's above.
And what do you think, fantasy? Go over or under?
I agree. I checked his numbers out. With what he had last year and the fact that he scored 7 TDs is saying a lot by itself. So the fact that he has Derek Carr there, who can put the ball on the money from time to time, Yeah, I see him going over.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I thought this guy was gonna be a sleeper, but apparently not. Yeah, I mean, I actually agree with you guys. Derek Carr, I think, is a factor, in the way he uses tight ends, and I actually like Jawan Johnson a lot for next season. As far as like draft wise, I mean, he'll probably still be a late pick, but I think he's a solid pick late. If you don't take a top flight tight end, so good stuff, guys. I like it. I'm gonna take the over with you. And so with that is the end of that segment. So let's do a quick roundtable. Any final thoughts, Paul? You got anything else before we part with our fans on the other side?
I just want to take a little time and say to all my Warriors fans out there, it's never over until the fat lady sings. And just to let you guys know the Kings played a great 2 games. Congratulations. But we back in the Bay. We don't need Draymond. We don't need Draymond in the Bay for this one. For the first one, we're gonna be all right. And this one's still gonna go 7 games. We're gonna have an exciting first round here.
Unfortunately, that is not what's going to happen. The Kings in 5. We dropping one in Frisco for sure. We dropping one in Frisco. And I think we actually lose this next game. I think it's the game after that when Draymond's back that we wipe you guys on the floor and Sunday. Then we went back home or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Then we win back home and we kick you guys out the playoffs. It's over. It's a wrap, bro. We got 2 more.
We stomp in the yard. We stomp in the yard both times. We stomp in the yard both times in San Francisco. Stomp the yard, my boy.
The best. Who's the best road team in the NBA? Remind me.
In the playoffs? I don't know. We have to find out.
Who's the best road team in the NBA this past season? Remind me.
In the playoffs? I don't know.
Tell me.
We'll have to find out.
Remind me. Well, because obviously
who the best home team is in the NBA.
The Warriors obviously was the worst road team in the NBA, and that was in the regular season. And look what just happened. It carried over.
It's all good, man. It's all good. We played really good.
Is it your Lakers?
No, it's probably the Warriors.
It's the Warriors, man.
Yeah, Warriors have like an 800 winning.
Man, you're like arguing with yourself.
And you got any final thoughts, man?
Hell yeah, man. Lakers took a big L tonight. Tough one. But we'll come back strong in LA. I don't know when our next game is. It's probably Friday or something. We got like 3 days off now. NBA soft like that. Kings 4-2 in the series. I'm not trying to poke you, Paul, but Kings get you this year.
Don't.
The end of a dynasty.
David versus Goliath, maybe.
I'm going to go ahead and put a bow on this thing. I think the Kings finish the series off. Probably going to be 5 games. Be my guess. Maybe 6. But it's a hell of a series. Shout out to Steph. Steph's one of my favorite players to watch. So this series has been a blast, dude. Especially as a Kings fan. But shout out to the Kings. Shout out to Coach Brown winning Coach of the Year tonight. Shout out to De'Aaron getting Clutch Player of the Year. Hell of a series. But with that, we got our final thoughts. Before I let the stream go, if you guys are listening, go ahead and check us out on YouTube, Twitch, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We got a live podcast coming up this Friday, which is going to be all sports talk, everything football, basketball, boxing, you name it. So check us out. We got a baseball podcast. What day is that on, Paul? Is that Sunday?
Sundays.
Yep, Sundays got fantasy baseball. So make sure to check out Paul and Ant. That's a fantastic podcast. But like I said, we got tons of content for you guys. We got more stuff coming on YouTube. Be sure to check us out, subscribe, and make sure to ride along with us. I know we'll probably be doing something here for the draft coming up, which is very close, actually. I think less than 2 weeks away. So
isn't it next week?
Right around the corner.
Yeah, I think so. Actually, it is next week. I'm sorry. Yeah, next week. So be on the lookout for that. I'm sure we're going to have plenty of content covering the draft.
Yank time, boy.
Yeah, that's going to be fun, guys. I'm looking forward to that. So
hey, who's going to be in the building on Friday?
I don't know if I'm going to be there yet. I'm going to try. But what about you guys?
I'm there.
I'll be there.
Hey, we also got our pre-draft where we're pulling our numbers. I think is it next month or the month before? So I think are we doing that on a pod?
The draft lottery.
Our draft lottery. Yeah,
we're doing that on the pod. Hey, so are you gonna pull up? Are you gonna pull up, Paul? Are you scared
on Friday?
Yeah, you pulling up. If the Kings win, I will see.
Paul gotta get you okay, man.
If the Kings win, we're not seeing Paul. I'll say that right now.
I already got my permission slip signed for Saturday, man. I got to get one for Friday too.
What Saturday?
Saturday the fight. You got the fight. Yeah, you got the fight on Saturday.
Non-football related.
Keen,
like Paul just said. King Henry. Or no, not King Henry. King Ryan.
King
Stop
Ryan.
it.
King Ryan, my
Yeah.
boy.
King Ryan, baby.
My boy's too
Hey.
fast for him.
What
My
we
boy's
got on
too
this one? What we
fast.
got on the fight? What we got on the
Oh
fight?
man,
Boy.
50 each. 50 each. 50
book
each.
it. Book
50
it.
each. All right, bro. That's easy. That's an easy $100
Oh,
in my
man.
pocket, baby.
Live
Let's
bets
go.
on the podcast, guy. Live bets. They're taking Garcia versus Vontae Davis.
Let's go.
Easy work.
I will make sure that I FaceTime you guys because I know you guys are gonna be at the same spot. I know my cousin Ant's gonna be over here. We're gonna be watching that shit.
Nice.
I
Yeah,
gotta get my voice back.
That one excites me.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that is it for the podcast. Like I said, like, subscribe, make sure to follow along. We got tons and tons and tons of content. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.
Peace.
They're up.
Go Kings.
Dub Nation.
Light the beam.